Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the LG Effect. I am Lysandra Brooks, aka your girl, Lala. Thank you so much for joining me again on this lovely Sunday afternoon. Yes, y'all, I am excited. We are growing. I hope you all are enjoying the content that is being presented to you on every Sunday afternoon. Listen, it's all about helping you, girl. It is about helping us to grow, helping us to develop, helping us to mature, helping us to be the best that we can be. So with that being said, I bring real life things to you, issues and my own personal experience. And like I tell you, I will be the first to be transparent and let you know if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. If I did it, if I said it, it is what it is. But we're going to be chilling and we're going to be talking. So listen, y'all already know how it goes down on the LG. So I'm going to need for you to go get your favorite beverage of choice. That could be coffee, juice, tea, water, a glass of wine, or perhaps that favorite turtle mocha sippy. But for me, on today, I will be drinking Coke. So we are going to be sipping and talking about life insurance. Yep, you heard me right, life insurance. And on last week's episode, I mentioned that there are five things that can cause a rift in the family. And one of those things I touched on was when someone leaves this earth, when they expire, when they die, whatever label or term you want to put on it, they are no longer existing. They're no longer breathing, and their social security number has just been deleted. Yes, oh my God, I know that was horrible. But y'all, on the real, your true feelings and emotions, all of that will seep out when someone leaves this earth. You just never know what you have on the inside. Grief can bring up some emotions that are really internalized stuff that we've suppressed for a while, that we hidden in the closet, or we just think, okay, it's not going to happen to me. But when you have someone that you love, that you cherish, someone that is close to you, and they expire, sometimes emotions just come out that you didn't even know that you had. So that's why we were talking about estate planning and how important it was to have a will, how it was important to have a trust or whatever, to have some legal documentation in place. So when and if that time comes and your loved one or yourself perhaps even leave this earth, you have everything documented. So the people that are left behind are not broken. They're already broken emotionally just from the loss of a loved one. So we don't want to be broken with the stress and the aggravation and the frustration of the bickering and the fighting and the inside stuff that goes on in the house. You know what I'm saying? When we're trying to get and we're trying to take and we're saying, well, I want the car. Well, I want the house. Well, I want the jewelry. Well, I want the clothes. Well, I feel like I should have this and I should have that. And if there's no proper documentation, no legal documentation in place, then guess what? You have to go before a judge. You have to do a succession. And nobody wants to have to deal with all of that. So what am I saying today? Life insurance, y'all, it will just make life so much easier. It is nothing worse than you leaving this earth and not having life insurance. Now the people that are left behind are left to pick up the pieces. We're sipping and we are talking. So what are the different types of life insurance? The two most common life insurances that there are now is term life and whole life. Some call whole life permanent life, but we mostly say whole life or term life. And basically term life is simply just that. It's for a term. It may be for a 10-year or 20-year period or space in time. At that time, you'll need to renew it. Or some agencies will allow you, from what I understand, to now roll that over into perhaps making it a permanent or a whole life insurance. And whole life is a little bit structured different, but it still has a time frame on that, but it usually comes with some type of monetary value. Some type of value comes from that, where you build up some monies from that. Matter of fact, I got something in the mail from today from one that I have on my nephew, and it's showing me how much I have accrued from that, how much dividends, or I don't know what exactly you call it, so forgive me for that, but you have some type of monetary gain that will be paid from the value of the amount that you have on the policy. But nonetheless, no matter what type of insurance, I'm not here to pick or tell you to take the term or to take the whole life. That's strictly up to you, your research, your person that you deal with, your insurance person can go over the particulars with you and the details, because you do have to know what you're getting. You know, whole life, I may say, works for me, and you may say term life works better for you. I may say term life works better for me, and you may say whole life works better for you. But whatever it is, my thing today is I want to make sure that we all have some form of life insurance. We can care about and do any and everything else in life. We want to put our investments in other places, in our cars, in things. But when we die or we leave this earth, what do we have for it? But when it comes time to make those funeral arrangements, and we go before the funeral director and we're there and we're talking about planning, and they're saying, well, this is going to cost this amount and this is going to cost this amount, and we're looking like we don't have any money. And they ask you, usually, is there a policy? Okay, bring your policy with you, or what is the policy? Let's go over the policy. Let's see what's what. And then you're like, oh, well, they didn't have insurance. And it's going to cost me how much? Yeah, I think we need to sit right there. I don't think we really understand and know the cost that goes into burying our loved ones. And we look at those digits on a piece of paper and it's like, whoa, what do we do now? And the sad part about it, now we got to try to raise the money. We got to try to get some funds so we can bury the ones we love, because they didn't have any life insurance. Some people just don't know. So that's why I'm presenting this to you on this episode, on this Sunday. Think about it. We think about the Christmas parties. We think about the festivals. We think about what restaurants and what we want to eat and what clothes we want to wear, where we want to go shop, where we want to go vacation. We think about all of those things, but we never come together and plan even our funeral. We're not even going to even go into that. That's a whole nother episode. Y'all, we sipping and we talking. Okay. But life insurance is very important. We need to have these conversations. I know some of our parents, when we start talking about life insurance and we talking about, you know, what we're going to do, they get a little defensive because they think we're trying to put them in the ground, or the individual that we're talking to. It may even be our spouse, our significant other, our spouse, our husband, our wives, and we're talking, babe, we need to talk about this life. Well, I don't want to talk about that right now. Nobody's going nowhere. We're not dying. We're not this, that. Even your children need to have insurance policies. Everybody needs to have some amount of insurance coverage, be it via term or whole life, y'all. We don't want to leave that burden and that stress on our loved ones to try to figure out how they are going to put us away. Yes, we want to make sure that you or we are put together nicely. I'm not saying you got to go spend a whole bucket load of money to do it, but you want to do it the right way. And you don't want to have chicken fries and chicken dinners and bake sales and cooks and all of this other stuff to try and get the money. Yes, if they don't have the insurance, we got to do what we got to do, right? We got to do what we have to do. We're not saying we're not going to do it and we just going to let you, you know, we got to do something, because you can't just stay at the morgue or the funeral home forever. So we have to come together now while we're still breathing, while we still have life in our body, and we're still in our right mind, to be able to sit down and intelligently have a conversation that will be best for us in the planning of our departure. And we need to start that talk sooner rather than later. We need to have that talk sooner rather than later. I know it's a tough place to be. It's a tough talk to have. Trust me, I know. And I tell y'all, when I come on, it's usually something that I've experienced. It's something that I've gone through. But to cut down on all of the unnecessary, because you're already emotional, you're already upset, and you're already having to deal with the loss of this person no longer being in your life. So what I want to simply say to you today is do your research. Do your research and really find out what's best for you. It's affordable. Term life, from what I understand, is a little bit cheaper than whole life. If that's the best you can do with the best of what you have, then that's what you do it. If you have little and you could get something, get something. If you can do whatever your money can get you, that's what you do. Again, I'm not here to sell a life insurance policy to you, because I do not sell life insurance, but I do speak life into you. I bring information to you to help you, because a lot of times we aren't thinking that far in advance, or we're thinking we're going to live forever. We're thinking we're too young. Maybe young people are dropping just like the older people. It used to be back in the days when you hear somebody die that they're in their 80s, and late 70s, early 80s, and even 90s and longer when people are dying. But now you're hearing people in their 20s leaving this earth. And guess what? Most of them do not have insurances. So then community, family, community, churches, or whatever come together to see what they could do to help put that person away. Don't let that be you today. Think about it. Sit down with your loved ones and get you an insurance policy. Again, sooner rather than later, because depending on what policies you get, some insurances you got to have for a minimum of 2 years. You got to have the policy in place for a certain amount of time before it even pays out. So you say, oh, well, I got insurance yesterday and thus and so died today, so he's covered. Not necessarily so. So you want to make sure you do your research. Let's do this. Make sure you do your research before you speak to someone, so you have, and you write down questions that you may have so you won't forget. That's one thing you can do. Do your research. Google, talk to different people, get their opinions, their ideas, their information, jot any questions you have down. And then when you speak to someone about getting insurance, you can speak from an intelligent point of view. You can speak from a place of learned knowledge or understanding from what you understand from the information you have, but get clarity on their end. Okay, term life. Tell me, what does term life mean with you? What can I get with term life? Have them break it down to the simplest common denominator. Have them break it down to where you understand, and you make the intelligent choice to what you can do that will be better for you. What's affordable to you, what you can get, but get something. Okay, we're just sipping today, and we are talking about life insurance. This is LaSandra Brooks, aka your girl, Lala, the queen of conquering. Now go get you some insurance, girl.